It's Diorama Don here again. This time I would like to show you how I go about making my roofs. I don't know what the plural of roof is. Is it roofs or roofs? I don't know. Roofs, I think, V. So the easiest way is a roof that you might find on an outbuilding of some kind, or a factory roof. So quite simply, either 2 or 3 millimeter thickness of cardboard, and just put a board around with support pieces any way you like, really. They could be that way or that way, but just do something like that, painted grey with a little bit of white dry brushing, and that's as good a roof as you could possibly ask for. So that's just one way that I do them. The other way is, if I can find it, a tiled roof. Now I've done a video some time ago on tiled roofs, but it doesn't hurt to go over things again. So what I do is divide a piece of very, very thin cardboard. This is 0.5 millimeter thick, not very thick at all. It's better, the thinner the better. If you start using 1 millimeter thick, that on a 1/35 scale is 35 millimeters thick, which is about 1.5 inches, and you're not going to find 1.5 inch thick tiles, slate tiles. So on thin card, I divide, make a grid of 3/8 of an inch, or 10 millimeters squares, that way and that way. Okay, once you've got that, then cut them every other line. So you've got that. Righty-ho. Then with a pair of scissors, cut halfway up the line where the mark is, like that, until you've got that. And then you've got all your tiles in one long line. You don't have to put them on individually. And then when you lay them on the roof, set them as you would a brick, like that, not like that, but like that, and just stick those on in a line. So however wide your roof is, then these need to be just a little bit wider, because you'll start off with a whole tile that end, and then when you come to put this one on, you'll need to cut that one in half, so it'll come over a bit like that. Okay, so that's how I do my slate roofs. Nice and easy, nice and quick. You could, if you wanted, put a slight V shape, if I could see. Just that's too much. That's ridiculous. But you could. Oh, just a minute. It needs to be very, 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 very thin V in there, just to give it more of a shape to the individual slate. But I think just the single cut is okay. That's as good a slate roof or tiled roof as you would expect to see. Again, with a little bit of black dry brushing and a little bit of white dry brushing, just to give it that weathered look. So there we go, that's another type of roof. Another one is that kind, the pan tiles, maybe, could be called that, pan tiles. So again, very awkward to make. So I tried to make it as easy as possible. So I cut or mark out on the same thin cardboard again, mark out 1/2 inch squares or 12mm squares and cut those up. And then if I had the right brush, just twiddle that around a very thin brush end until you've got the shape of the pan tile. But to put those on individually is a nightmare, to be honest. So let me do 2 and then I can show you. So with the super glue, or the best thing is hot melt glue, just put a slight bit of glue right on the end there and then put that over like so until you've got 4 or 5 all stuck together. So you don't need to put them on individually, you can put them on a line at a time. That makes life so much easier. And also, when you start at this end, you have quite a narrow tile. By the time you get to this end, it's spread out. It isn't as narrow as the first one. So what you can do is ease that now by turning these. You can ease it so that it's the same all the way along, instead of it being narrow one end and thick at the other, which is what you tend to get if you put them on one at a time, I find. So there we go, there's a line of pan tiles, and again with hot melt glue or super glue. You could use PVA, but it's a hell of a time to wait for the glue to dry. So just put these rows on one at a time, and you've got your pan tiled roof. Then just paint it. Well, I've painted it with burnt sienna, which is good a pan tile colour as I could think of, really. It's straight out the bottle. Don't have to do any mixing, no special paint, and again black and white dry brushing over the top. So that is another idea, or what I do sometimes, for a pan tile roof. So there we go, that's that. And finally, that kind of roof, a tin roof, galvanized, corrugated galvanized tin roof. I normally buy a sheet of A4 size corrugated. It's not really card, it's corrugated paper, really, quite thin and pliable. But I could only get this orange colour, so I sprayed it silver. It's immaterial really what the colour is. It still would need really to be sprayed in that silver colour, which is generally what the colour would be when you first start out with a brand new sheet of corrugated tin. It would be that kind of colour. Now, and this is very subjective, what you do then with those sheets is entirely up to you. I tend to, well, I'll just have a go. I'm not very good at this kind of thing. You're probably better at this than me. It's the painting that sets me back. So dry brushing a bit of grey first on there, sporadically. Right, so you could do these before you stick them on, I suppose, but In this case it's fine. So just a bit of wear and tear through the silver, like that. And then the same kind of thing with, again, burnt umber, is it? Yeah, sorry, burnt sienna. Sienna umber, I don't know. And again, just a dry brush with this. Just to give it a bit of discoloration. Not enough paint on the brush. Well, I'll just do these two. But you get the idea. But then with this paint without dry brushing, just to give the impression of rust at the bottom there. Like I say, this is very subjective and it needs a lot of time and trouble getting it to look quite reasonable, but from a distance that looks okay, about half a mile away. So you may have your own idea. I mean, who's to say what a weathered piece of corrugated iron should look like? It looks, there's a million different textures, different colours, but that's on its way to being okay. I wouldn't say that's a finished product, but that's the kind of thing that you can do once you've got the basis, the silver painted cardboard paper as a basis. And also just stick them on willy-nilly rather than, you know, nice and uniform. You would probably put these on an old barn or outhouse of some kind. So it would, in time, it would move the tins around a bit, and they wouldn't be straight as they were when they were new. I think you know what I mean. Okay, I'll leave it there. Oh, look at that, perfect. Okay, so they're just a few ideas of how I do my roofs. If you have any questions or comments, please list in the comments below. In the meantime, I'd really love if you subscribe to the channel. Things are going swimmingly at the moment, but we still need a few more subscribers, so please do so, and you'll be informed when new videos come along. Maybe you've picked up on something from this, I don't know. In the meantime, I will be back soon with another video, and until then, happy modelling.